Ladies and gentlemen, let me ask you a question. When was the last time you allowed yourself to dream so big it scared you? Not the kind of dream that keeps you comfortable, not the kind that fits neatly into your routine, but the kind that wakes you up at night because it feels impossible, the kind that makes your heart race because it matters that much. Too many people shrink their dreams to fit their circumstances. But the truth is, your circumstances are meant to expand when you dare to dream bigger. Today, I want to challenge you to stop playing small. Because the world doesn't need another person settling for average. It needs you to step into the extraordinary. Every morning when we wake up, we are presented with two choices. We can either see the day as a continuation of yesterday's routine or as a blank canvas waiting for us to create something extraordinary. The difference between those who achieve greatness and those who simply exist is not talent, it's not luck. It's the size of their dreams. Dreaming big isn't about fantasy, it's about direction. It's about daring to imagine a future so compelling that it pulls you out of bed with energy, focus, and determination. The greatest leaders, the most impactful innovators, the people we admire most, they were not the ones who dreamed small. They were the ones who chose to believe in something larger than themselves, something that initially seemed impossible. What made them extraordinary wasn't that they had everything figured out. It was that they had the courage to start, the patience to continue, and the resilience to keep moving forward despite the setbacks. They understood that the journey toward a big dream is never straight. It is filled with doubt, rejection, and failure. But the willingness to pursue that vision anyway, that is what makes it real. The problem with small dreams is that they don't demand growth. They don't stretch us. They don't pull us into the discomfort that shapes character and builds resilience. A small dream keeps you comfortable, but it also keeps you stuck. Big dreams, on the other hand, force you to become someone new in the process. They require you to learn, to adapt, to persevere. They ask you to look at who you are today and challenge you to imagine who you could become tomorrow. That's why dreaming big matters. It's not just about achieving more, it's about becoming more. Too many people wait until the conditions are perfect before daring to dream. They tell themselves, I'll start when I have more money, when I have more time, when I feel more ready. But if we wait for perfect conditions, we'll be waiting forever. The truth is, the most successful people rarely start ready. They start with what they have, where they are, and they let their big dream guide them forward. They don't ask, is it possible? They ask, what would it take to make it possible? That shift in mindset is everything. It transforms obstacles into opportunities and setbacks into stepping stones. Every big dreamer has moments of doubt. That's normal. But doubt doesn't mean stop. Doubt means you're stretching beyond the familiar, that you're on the edge of growth. Remember, fear and excitement feel very similar in the body. The difference is the story we attach to them. Fear says, I can't. Excitement says, this is new. When you reframe your fear as excitement, you start to see possibility instead of limitation. And that possibility fuels progress. Think of the people who change the world. Scientists, artists, athletes, entrepreneurs. At some point, every one of them was told their dream was too big, too unrealistic, too ambitious. And yet, they persisted. They didn't let the small minds of others limit the size of their vision. They knew that every great achievement begins as a dream that feels unreasonable. And slowly, with effort and persistence, that unreasonable dream becomes undeniable reality. The real question is not whether you should dream big. The real question is, what do you believe is worth dreaming about? Because when you connect your dream to a deeper purpose, something that matters not just to you, but to others, you tap into a source of energy that is limitless. Purpose is what transforms a dream from wishful thinking into a cause worth fighting for. It's what gives you the strength to get up when you've been knocked down, the courage to stand tall when others doubt you, and the resilience to keep moving when the road feels endless. Each morning, you have the opportunity to remind yourself why you started. You have the opportunity to reconnect with the vision of what could be and take one more step toward it. Don't underestimate the power of a single day. Every great accomplishment is built on the foundation of consistent, small actions. Dreaming big doesn't mean achieving it all at once. It means committing to the process day after day, knowing that each step, no matter how small, is progress. Momentum is built through movement, and movement comes from choosing to act, even when you don't feel ready. So when you wake up, don't just think about the tasks ahead of you. Think about the life you are building. Think about the future you want to create. Think about the difference you want to make. Let your dream be so big that it both excites you and scares you, because that's when you know it's worth pursuing. The world doesn't need more people playing small. The world needs more people bold enough to dream big and brave enough to chase those dreams with everything they've got. The world doesn't need more people playing small. The world needs more people bold enough to dream big and brave enough to chase those dreams with everything they've got. And here's the truth. When you decide to dream bigger than your circumstances, you won't just transform your own life. You'll ignite something in others. Big dreams are contagious. They challenge the people around you to rethink what's possible for themselves. They raise the standard. They expand the vision. They inspire belief. When you give yourself permission to go after something bold, you silently give permission to others to do the same. That is how movements begin. That is how progress is made. One dreamer daring to go further than what's expected creates a ripple effect that stretches far beyond their own reach. But dreaming big is not only about vision, it's also about discipline. It's easy to dream when everything feels exciting and new. It's much harder to keep showing up when the novelty wears off, when progress feels invisible, when the results don't come quickly. That's where most people quit. That's where the difference is made. Dreamers who endure understand that consistency beats intensity. They know that greatness isn't built in giant leaps, but in daily, deliberate steps. The person who chooses to persist when others give up is the one who will eventually cross the finish line. Because every step, no matter how small, compounds over time. Small daily actions in service of a big dream create unstoppable momentum. You don't need to know the entire path to get started. In fact, you can't know it. Big dreams are supposed to be bigger than your current understanding. They're supposed to stretch you into unknown territory. That's what makes them powerful. If you already had every answer, it wouldn't be a dream. It would just be a plan. Big dreams force you to step into the unknown and trust yourself along the way. And trust is built not by certainty, but by action. Every time you take a step forward, you prove to yourself that you are capable of more than you thought. Every challenge overcome becomes evidence of your strength. That evidence builds confidence, and that confidence fuels the courage to keep dreaming even bigger. Along the way, you'll face people who doubt you. Some will say your dream is unrealistic. Others will laugh, criticize, or try to pull you back down to their level of comfort. But remember, people don't see the world as it is. They see the world as they are. Their doubt is a reflection of their own limitations, not yours. Never let someone else's fear define the size of your dream. Surround yourself with people who see possibility, who challenge you to rise higher, who remind you of your potential when you forget. Environment shapes belief, and belief shapes action. Choose wisely who you allow to influence your vision. Dreaming big is also about responsibility. When you dare to dream at a higher level, you are making a promise not just to yourself, but to everyone who will be impacted by your success. You're promising to lead by example, to prove that change is possible, to show that courage matters. A big dream is not selfish, it is service. Because when you achieve something bold, you create opportunities for others. You open doors, you inspire action, you make it easier for those who come after you to dream even bigger. Every breakthrough you create becomes a foundation for the next generation to build upon. There will be times when the dream feels distant, when progress feels slow, when the weight of the journey feels overwhelming. In those moments, remember why you started. Remember the vision that stirred your soul and made you believe in something greater. Hold onto that picture so tightly that nothing can shake it from you. Because the truth is, your dream is not just about you. It's about the people waiting on the other side of your persistence. Somewhere out there, Someone needs the story you're living. Someone needs the courage you're showing. Someone needs the results of the dream you are brave enough to chase. And don't confuse dreaming big with chasing perfection. Perfection is an illusion that paralyzes action. Dreaming big is not about flawless execution. It's about relentless pursuit. It's about showing up, learning, failing forward, and refusing to settle. The dream is not diminished by mistakes. It's strengthened by them. Every failure is feedback, every setback a lesson, every obstacle a training ground. The dream is refined in the process, and the person you become along the way is just as important as the dream itself. Every morning when your alarm goes off, you are presented with a choice. You can shrink back into comfort, or you can step forward into growth. You can play small and stay safe, or you can dream big and live bold. Comfort will whisper to you. It will try to convince you to take it easy, to wait until tomorrow, to settle for less. But tomorrow is not guaranteed, and the cost of comfort is regret. The cost of a big dream may be effort, sacrifice, and resilience, but the reward is a life that matters, a life that inspires, a life that fulfills the deepest potential within you. Dreaming big is not a luxury. It's a responsibility. It's the responsibility of anyone who wants to live a life of meaning, who wants to make an impact, who wants to leave the world a little better than they found it. When you dream small, you only serve yourself. When you dream big, you serve the world. That is why it matters. That is why you must choose it. And that is why today, right now, is the perfect time to begin. That is why it matters. That is why you must choose it. And that is why today, right now, is the perfect time to begin. Because beginnings are powerful. They set the tone. They declare intention. They are the moment you stop waiting for permission and start writing your own story. Too often, people imagine that success belongs only to the select few who were born into opportunity, who had the right connections, or who stumbled upon luck. But beginnings are not reserved for the privileged. Beginnings belong to anyone with the courage to take the first step, no matter how small, no matter how uncertain. The act of starting, of saying, "I will try," is the seed from which every great achievement grows. Think about it, every invention, every movement, every legacy we celebrate today began with a single decision. A decision to no longer accept what is, but to pursue what could be. The Wright brothers had no certainty their flying machine would work. Rosa Parks had no guarantee her act of defiance would spark change. Steve Jobs had no way of knowing his vision would transform technology forever. But they all began. They all dared to dream big and step forward without knowing the full path ahead. And because they began, the world is different today. The most dangerous lie we tell ourselves is that big dreams are for other people. We convince ourselves we're not ready, not worthy, not capable. We compare our chapter 1 to someone else's chapter 20 and use it as proof we can't compete. But here's the truth. Those people you admire started where you are. They too wrestled with fear, self-doubt, and uncertainty. They weren't special because they were fearless. They were special because they acted in spite of fear. That is what separates dreamers from doers. Fear is universal. Courage is a choice, and dreaming big requires courage not only once but over and over again. Courage to begin, courage to continue, courage to get back up when the world knocks you down. Because make no mistake, the world will test your dream. Life will throw obstacles in your way. People will criticize, circumstances will discourage, and at times your own mind will betray you with doubt. But these are not signs that your dream is impossible. They are proof that your dream is worthy, because the path to something extraordinary will never be easy. If it were, everyone would walk it. The struggle is the evidence that you are chasing something significant. When the dream feels heavy, when the progress feels invisible, remember that growth is happening in the unseen. A seed buried in the soil looks like nothing is happening, but deep beneath the surface, roots are forming, foundations are strengthening, life is preparing to break through. The same is true for you. The hard work you put in, the lessons you learn, the resilience you build, all of it is preparing you for a breakthrough. Don't mistake silence for absence. Don't confuse delay with denial. Your dream is growing, even when you can't yet see it. One of the most powerful tools you have is vision, the ability to close your eyes and see the future before it exists. To imagine it so clearly that you begin to live as though it were already real. That vision fuels persistence. It keeps you moving when nothing else makes sense. Athletes use it, leaders use it, creators use it. They picture the outcome so vividly that their mind begins to believe it's possible. And when the mind believes, the body follows. Vision is not fantasy. Vision is preparation. But vision without action is just imagination. To dream big is to pair imagination with execution. To take that bold picture of the future and anchor it in daily habits. Success is not built on occasional brilliance, but on consistent discipline. The big dream should excite you, but the small steps will carry you there. Write the book one page at a time. Build the business one decision at a time. Change the world one act of courage at a time. The future doesn't arrive all at once. It arrives in the choices you make today, repeated tomorrow, and built upon the next day. And never underestimate the power of patience. In a world obsessed with speed, we glorify instant results and overnight success. But real transformation takes time. Seeds don't bloom the moment they're planted. Dreams don't manifest the moment they're spoken. Growth takes nurturing, faith, and persistence. Impatience is what kills most dreams, not failure, not rejection, not lack of talent. Impatience. Because when the results don't come fast enough, most people give up. But the dreamers who endure, the ones who stay patient while staying consistent, those are the ones who break through. Your dream has a timeline, but it's not always your timeline. It unfolds at the pace that shapes you into the person capable of living it. The delays, the detours, the struggles, they're not punishments, they're preparation. Every season of waiting is equipping you with skills, character, and strength you'll need when the dream finally arrives. If you quit too soon, you may miss the very breakthrough that was waiting around the corner. So dare to keep going. Dare to stay in the game when others tap out. Dare to believe in the possibility of your dream, even when reality tells you otherwise. Because dreaming big is not about certainty, it's about belief. It's about holding on to a vision so compelling that it carries you through the storms. It's about trusting that the dream you've been given is not random, but a calling. And if you are brave enough to keep moving forward, one step at a time, you'll discover that what once felt impossible slowly becomes inevitable. And if you are brave enough to keep moving forward one step at a time, you'll discover that what once felt impossible slowly becomes inevitable. That shift doesn't happen in a single dramatic moment. It happens gradually, almost invisibly, like dawn breaking after a long night. One day you'll look back and realize that the things which once terrified you now feel natural. The challenges that once felt insurmountable now serve as proof of your growth. That's the beauty of chasing a dream bigger than yourself. It transforms not only your future, but your identity. You become someone stronger, wiser, more resilient than you ever thought possible. And once you've experienced that transformation, you'll never again accept a life of smallness. But here's something important. Dreaming big doesn't guarantee ease, but it does guarantee meaning. A comfortable life may feel safe, but without a compelling dream, it often lacks fulfillment. People can spend years ticking boxes, achieving what looks like success on the outside, yet feel empty on the inside because they settle for less than what they were capable of. The pursuit of a big dream fills that void. Even when the journey is hard, even when the results take time, there's a sense of aliveness that comes from knowing you are pursuing something that matters. And meaning is what sustains you when motivation fades. Motivation is fleeting. It can get you started, but it cannot carry you through the storms. Meaning can. Purpose can. The dream has to be tied to something deeper than recognition, deeper than wealth, deeper than comfort. It has to be tied to contribution, to impact, to legacy. When your dream is connected to lifting others, to making a difference, to leaving the world better than you found it, you tap into a source of energy that does not run dry. Because now, it's not just about you. It's about something larger, something worth giving your life to. The danger of small thinking is that it convinces you to settle for survival instead of striving for significance. It whispers that you're too ordinary to matter, too late to begin, too limited to create change. But history is proof that extraordinary impact often comes from ordinary people who simply refuse to accept those lies. They dared to see possibility where others saw impossibility. They dared to act when others stayed silent. They dared to keep dreaming when the world told them to stop. That's what made them different. It wasn't their resources. It wasn't their circumstances. It was their refusal to let small thinking dictate their destiny. And you don't need to know how your dream will unfold to begin living into it. In fact, part of the beauty of a big dream is the mystery. It asks you to step into faith, to take action without all the answers, to trust that the path will reveal itself as you move forward. Each step provides clarity. Each setback provides wisdom. Each victory provides momentum. The dream is not delivered in full. It is revealed piece by piece as you prove yourself willing to walk toward it. There's another truth we must embrace. Success is not measured solely by what you achieve, but by who you inspire along the way. The dream is not only about the final destination, it's about the trail you blaze for others. Every act of courage creates a blueprint someone else can follow. Every time you rise after falling, you show others it's possible. Every time you choose to keep going, you remind those watching that their dreams are worth chasing too. And you may never know the full extent of the impact you've made. Sometimes the lives you touch are people you'll never meet, people who simply saw your example and found in it the courage to begin. That is the real power of a big dream. It doesn't stop with you. It multiplies. It spreads. It ripples outward in ways you cannot predict. One person's decision to pursue their vision can unlock opportunities for hundreds, thousands, even millions of others. That's why your dream matters. That's why giving up is not an option. Because your courage is not only for you. It is for every person your dream will touch. And understand this, the bigger the dream, the bigger the resistance. That resistance is not there to defeat you. It's there to define you. It's there to strengthen the muscle of perseverance, to test your commitment, to refine your character. Resistance is the universe's way of asking, how badly do you want this? And your answer is not in your words, it's in your persistence. Every time you push forward in the face of resistance, you send a message to yourself, to the world, and to the dream itself that you are serious, that you are ready, that you will not quit. Dreaming big requires you to trade short-term comfort for long-term fulfillment. It asks you to delay gratification, to invest today for a future that may not be visible yet. But that's the essence of faith, believing in a harvest long before you see the first sprout. And when you finally do see the results, when the dream begins to take shape, you'll realize it was never just about the outcome. It was about the person you became, the people you inspired, and the legacy you created in the process. So don't shrink your dream to match your circumstances. Expand your courage to match your dream. Don't adjust your vision to fit your comfort zone. Stretch your comfort zone to fit your vision. The dream was given to you for a reason. It's your responsibility to honor it, to nurture it, to chase it with everything you have. Because the world doesn't just need dreamers. It needs dreamers who act, dreamers who persist, dreamers who dare to believe that what is possible tomorrow begins with what they choose to do today.